Hey everyone, it's Michael Kostroff. You know I love an analogy. I love finding parallels and different ways of looking at what we do. And today I want to talk to you about looking at a project and a character like a room. It's a room that has a bunch of doors on all four sides to this room. And sometimes you have to try a couple of doors to figure out the way in. I think I've told you, I'll tell you again, I am not the most highly trained actor I know. I haven't studied a lot of techniques. And I find that I'm pretty instinctive and kind of just go, which I used to think was lazy, and now I just think that's how I work. However, I got a toolkit from the little that I do know about sense memory, substitution. I have these tools I can use. And sometimes I'm like, well, I can't get my head around this particular character. Let me try a different door. Let me try sense memory. Is there something I could do with sense memory that would be the key to enter this room, or substitution? Or can I use what's really going on in my life? Can I use how I feel about my frustration at not being able to crack the code on this character? Sometimes I can use that, the thing that's actually happening in that moment. And there's so many other ways to approach things. Am I just going to fake it? Which, by the way, I love teaching some acting heresy. Sometimes I just fake it. And that happens to be the door that I use to get into the room that particular time around. It behooves you to, and this is hypocritical of me because I haven't studied that much, and I should have. It behooves you to learn about as many different methodologies and experiment with as many different methodologies as possible, so that you have a good toolkit. Sometimes sometimes if a scene, let's say that a scene calls for really high stakes and I'm not feeling the high stakes, I will replace the circumstances in my mind with much more dire ones. I've got little tricks like that I'll do with myself. And there are many more. But it's good to have a toolkit, because those are the different doors that you can try to find your way in. If you just have one way of working, you got one door. And if that door doesn't particularly work, or it creaks, or it breaks, then you're kind of stuck. Yeah, that's it. Doors, as we say in New York. I think that's the entirety of today's message, this week's message, is just recognize that there are lots of ways in. And in each case, you have to hunt around a little and find the way in. And sometimes it's something, the scene or the circumstance or something you relate to so much that it's like a doorway. You just walk right in. So, yeah, I've carried that analogy about as far as I can. I was trying to think, is there a trap door? No, I don't. Come down the chimney. Yeah, I think I've gone far enough with this. I will be back to talk to you about other things next week, like I always am. And as always, I'm interested if this is helpful or valuable to you and what you think about that. I would love to hear if there are any stories out there about a time that you felt challenged by a character or a scene and you tried something else. Yes, I have one more story. I was working with a student and she was having a difficult time getting a hold of this character. And this particular actress is an amazing singer. I said, how do you feel when you're singing? And she said, oh, like light and breezy and free. And I said, and that's the quality that you're looking for in the character. So I want you to mentally sing the entire scene without letting anybody know that you're singing. That was her way in. That was the weird little door that got her into that character. I could go on and on about tools, but we won't do that today. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. Talk to you next week. Bye.